Hey, welcome everybody to the Healthy Brain Podcast. Today I'm continuing the series of how to build a stronger brain. This is part two. Part one was last week, so you can stop this recording and go back to part one, or you can just listen to this one and then go back to part one. Part two today, we're going to be doing a deep dive into the structural building blocks of building a stronger brain. And I'm going to show, if you're on the video, you'll see my little, I have a couple of diagrams here. They're my chicken scratch, I would say, because I was conceptualizing this as far as a building. And today we're going to be talking about the building. Next week, we're going to be talking about what goes into the building. And last week, I did cover the different areas that we know in neuroscience and also in brain health that will be impactful for a stronger, healthier brain. And if you're just listening to the podcast for the first time, or you don't know who I am, I've been working over 25 years in cognitive neuroscience, in cognitive rehab, and I still have a thriving private practice where I see people who have memory problems, stroke possibly, TBI, mild cognitive impairment, and I'm seeing these patients for therapy for the cognitive rehab. For my clients, my coaching clients, what I've done is combined my years of neuroscience as well as being a certified health and life coach and created a program. It's called the Legacy Life Program. And in this program, I've really put all of my resources. I'm continuing to add to it. But it's a weekly group coaching. So every week I have a time where I go online with people and I do a teaching, I answer questions, I provide coaching. People have identified, my coaching clients, they've identified a 90-day goal, a 3-month goal that they're working on currently. And we break it down to doable, actionable steps. But in the meantime, all the other things that happen along with it, which I'm going to be talking about today and next week, in the Legacy Life program, not only do we have the neuroscience brain-based techniques that we know help someone like all of us be able to achieve goals. So that's part of the program. But also I have a really big emphasis on nervous system regulation. I'm a yoga teacher, meditation teacher, and in the program, in the Legacy Life program, there's many classes for yoga. This Jumpstart Your Health from January, February, March, what I'm doing is creating a schedule where people will know a suggestion of what is the yoga class to take on a particular day, if it's Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the other days will be a meditation, breath work practice, because what I found is people can have the availability of the classes, but to have it suggested, it's easier to plug and play, meaning press and play. And every Friday I go live to teach a yoga sculpt class. And actually I'm pretty casual today because today I'm doing some recordings and I just thought, okay, I'm going to record not just my yoga classes, but I'm going to record this video. So let's get into the part two of building a stronger brain. So I want you to picture a house. Think of the floor, and I'll go through, there's 5 areas. They all refer to parts of the structure of a house. So the floor of the house is the medical management. The right side of the wall is time management. The left side of the wall is habits and routines. The middle support beam of the house is mindset management, and the ceiling is spiritual management. So all of these areas, when we look at each of them, and we're going to break it down. When you look at all of the areas, they really will set you up for success or not success in building a stronger and healthier brain. So if you don't have some of these in place, you're less likely to be successful in having a stronger and healthier brain. So let's take a look at each area separately. I'm going to ask you questions, and I just want you to answer. You can answer out loud, or it is supposed to be thought-provoking. So when you hear the question and you're answering, yes, I'm solid on this, yes, I have that in place, or maybe you don't, it's to highlight the importance of it. Because what I'm pulling from and why I'm suggesting all of these areas is, again, it's neuroscience based, it's also brain health based, and also how our brain functions. When we have these in place, these structural things in place, it will help us then to implement the lifestyle healthy habits that we're going to be talking about next week in part 3 to build a stronger brain. All right, we're starting on the floor. Not really, but we are starting on the floor. Let me take a little sip of tea here. This tea is absolutely delicious. I just had a cupcake as well. It was a really good red velvet cupcake. Okay, so medical management is on the base, the floor, and this is your medical management from your doctor, primary care, or your specialists, checking on making sure how is your blood pressure, hypertension, glucose, how's your, do you have diabetes or pre-diabetes? Do you have insulin sensitivity or insulin resistance? Do you have a chronic infection? Is there any toxin exposure, such as mold exposure? How are your hormone levels? Is it dysregulated? Metals, levels of exposure to metals, levels of vitamins and minerals. So medical management, I don't provide medical management. I'm not a physician. Going to get your annual checkup, going to your specialist, medical management is very important to make sure that your body and your brain are supported in these areas that I just mentioned. So that is the floor of your house. The right side wall is time management. So I want you to think about, what is your system for planning your time and organizing your day? Are you intentional with your time? Or is it sort of loosey-goosey and you just sort of, well, whatever you feel like doing? Maybe you're in between. You're maybe in between. Are you setting monthly and 90-day goals and yearly goals, but more specifically, like the monthly and 3-month goals? Are you tracking? Do you have a specific plan for reaching the goals? So are you tracking the progress in the goals? And how are you tracking your progress or lack of progress in the goals or in the habits that we'll be talking about in the third point? Are you intentional with your day, your time? Are you remembering? How do you remember to do important actions, making the phone calls, appointments? Are you using a paper planner over a digital? Now, I am a big fan of a paper planner, and I'll tell you, just for supporting your brain, that having a paper planner, you can still have your digital, but having a paper planner, it helps your brain to keep track, because it's very, you can see more days on paper, plus your writing, and that helps with the neural connection. I do really support my clients and patients to have a paper planner. But the main thing is, like, what is your system, or do you not have a system? And again, these are questions just to get you thinking that if you don't have a system, this is something that you can start implementing. Because before you even start on those healthy habits, before you even want to do this plan, this diet plan, this workout plan, sleep, you have to have some of these things in place. And that's why we're talking about it first off. Number 3, that's the left side wall, is habits and routines. Habits, there's many, many healthy habits, and there's also a lot of unhealthy habits. The specifics of the habits we'll talk about next week, like the specifics on lifestyle habits. What I really want to explain here is, why are habits and routines so important? Well, for a couple reasons. Habits and routines help the brain to conserve energy. When it becomes a habit, our action becomes a habit, our brain doesn't have to use as much energy to think about doing it and processing the steps to do it. When it's a habit, when we've done it, and you've probably noticed when you do something the first time, it like takes a lot of brain power to do an action. But once you've done it a few times, it just becomes like my sourdough. I'm going to say my sourdough recipe. The first 3 loaves, I was always looking at the recipe and making sure, tweaking it, changing it, because I was missing something or not doing it as suggested, as recommended. Now I'm 10 loaves in, by all means not an expert, but it's so much easier to do. Now, that's not an actual habit, but it's an action that I've repeated over and over, and my brain is not using as much energy in order to do the action. The other reason why habits and routines are important for us to know about and to have in place in order for us to make change is that it helps the brain to actually complete the task. It takes around 60 days to create a habit, but that's and I've mentioned this before, it's like a groove in your brain. It's a neural connection that solidified. It's really ingrained in 60 days, but you can still make a lot of progress within the 0 to 60 days. The reason for the habit, why I find, and working with many clients and many patients, because my patients, I really recommend them to implement habits, because for them, they have less brain energy because of their brain injury or because they're having difficulties with brain function. So for them, habits and routines are crucial because it allows them to feel less stress. Like you don't feel as stressed when you know that it's in a routine. But what I found is you actually get more done when you put it in, I call it a habit sandwich. So it's like 3 or 4 things, boom, 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 boom. You just get it done, one after another or simultaneously. That your brain doesn't have to think through, it doesn't have to problem solve, it doesn't have to pick the time to do it. You just have a habit sandwich. And I've used that for my morning routine. I've also used it for my evening routine, where it is, the more I do it and the more I bundle them together. You've heard of habit stacking. It's similar. I like the habit sandwich because it's just, like I said, 3 to 4 habits in a row. So an action is just a one and done. But a habit is created by taking consistent action every day. So the last question in that point is, what habits do you want to start? And what do you want to be more consistent with? Like, where is it that you can see, if I had this in place and I could do this habit and routine, it would set me up for a stronger brain, for a healthier life, for a healthier brain, healthier body. Let's get to number 4, which is the middle beam in a house, mindset management. And really, it means just what it says. It's mindset. Are you managing your mind? Are you managing your thoughts? Are you managing all those things going on in your mind? Or do you feel like it's monkey mind? Or someone said it's like a squirrel, like they're a squirrel. It's whoop, whoop. So their attention, how is your attention? How is your focus? What are you thinking of? And do you let your thoughts just do a runaway, like a runaway truck? Do you have a process to become more aware of your thoughts? And do you even realize, the thing is, when I start with a lot of clients, it's the information I give to them, and this is based in cognitive science, is that our thoughts create emotions, which then give us that push for a certain action or inaction. So knowing that there's power in our thoughts and our emotions, knowing that, and knowing that you have a choice to choose to think a certain way or not to think a certain way. So acknowledging the thoughts, processing emotions. Do you have a system? And then are you able to choose new thoughts that can lead to possibility versus keeping you stuck? Now, this mindset management, all of the areas except for the medical management, so the time management, habits, routines, mindset management, and then this last one, spiritual management, those are all areas, the structural areas that we work on in the Legacy Life program. So if you're thinking, ooh, I don't even know what to do with my thoughts. What do you mean? What's going on? I have to lower my hand. I just clicked up. I raised my hand on my own recording here. So if you're thinking about your thoughts, or not even thinking about your thoughts and saying, what the heck do you mean thinking about my thoughts? It's like a metacognition. Don't worry, I got you. When you join the Legacy Life program, you learn all about it. And every week when I go through group coaching, I'm always talking about the mindset tools, the tools that I learned. Now, did I learn them in all of my neuroscience background, medical? No, I learned it through coaching that used a lot of the neuroscience and took it to the next level. All right. So it's something we're not really taught unless you're in that arena. So don't worry, we got you. Just come and join the Legacy Life program. Let's get to number 5. So spiritual management. Now stay with me here. This is important. It's just as important as everything else. Are you practicing your faith? Do you have a spiritual practice? Do you have daily devotions, daily prayer? How connected are you to your faith? We think about our faith when something goes wrong and when disaster happens a lot. But why do we need to wait till then? Developing and maintaining, again, consistency with especially a spiritual practice is something that I encourage my clients to do. In the Legacy Life program, like I mentioned, you have the time management, habits, routines, mindset, spiritual management. This is to set us up for implementing the next week, which in the Legacy Life program, we are building stronger brains because we have this structure set, and then we work on all the lifestyle and healthy building blocks that I'm going to talk about in part 3 next week. Now is a perfect time. Don't wait till next year or in the summer or when things slow down to join the Legacy Life program, because you join, you get access right away, and you'll get support. You'll see me twice a week if you come to the yoga sculpt on the Friday. And don't worry, they're all replay, or they're all recorded, so they'll be there for a replay. I was just talking to one of my clients, and they really appreciated having it where they can do their yoga practice at home, that they don't have to go to a studio. Well, they don't feel comfortable going to a studio because I don't want to say it's beginner yoga, because there's really no yoga that's beginner yoga, but it's an easier entry yoga if you're not physically active. Even if you are active, like I work out every day, so I'm physically strong, but I need this yoga for my nervous system regulation. And we all do need it, because the more that we can manage our brain and we can manage our stress response, the better that we're able to show up and really impact the world. All right, so make sure, if you want to join the Legacy Life, it's called the Jumpstart Your Health for the January, February, March. So just click on the link in the show notes and then you'll see it described. You can always send me an email at hkw@heathercolwichwellness.com if you have questions. And I'll see you next week for part 3 of Building a Stronger Brain. Take care, everyone.